If you listen to the Bengals on 105.7 The Zone, you hear Dan Hoard doing the play-by-play and Dave Lapham doing the color commentary, and Lap joins us right now. And Dave, first of all, before I get to the Bengals, you did Big 12. You saw Patrick Mahomes in college, did you not, with the work you do for the Big 12?
I did. Hey, Matt and Stan, how you guys doing? I did see Pat Mahomes. Yeah.
So is he, first of all, did you expect him when he got drafted? There were a lot of people that raised their eyebrows when the Chief took him number 10 overall and had this plan to make him the quarterback. So did it surprise you that he went that soon? And B, what he is doing now that you've seen him in person in the NFL, is it exceeding anything that you ever thought that he would be?
Well, I think that there was no doubt that he had talent. Going back to his Texas Tech days, Cliff Kingsbury recruited Patrick Mahomes. The starting quarterback was former walk-on Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Baker Mayfield had a good year. He brings in Patrick Mahomes, and Cliff Kingsbury says the job's open. And Baker Mayfield was upset about that he, battled and won the starting job as a walk-on. He sees Patrick Mahomes in workouts and transfers to Oklahoma. He saw that much arm talent. He said, no, honestly, he said, you know what? I'm going to Oklahoma, and I have a better shot at Oklahoma walking on there. And he did. And he went number 1 in the draft eventually, and Mahomes went number 10 the year before in the draft. Mahomes, in a game against Oklahoma, threw for 700 yards, 5 touchdown passes. He threw it 88 times. He rushed for a touchdown and rushed for, I think it was like 90 yards or something, and lost the game. So, I mean, the guy, it's ridiculous what his arm talent is. And, any player, never mind quarterback, any player will tell you that if you're fortunate enough to go to the right organization with the right person, people are saying Goff's a bust. He gets a coach that knows what he's doing offensively. He's not a bust. They're saying Trubisky's a bust in Chicago. Get a coach up there that knows what he's doing offensively. He's not a bust. And when Mahomes goes to Kansas City with Andy Reid, who is as good a scheme guy and as good as anybody in terms of, all of his formations, personnel groups, motion, window dressing, getting defensive eyes in the wrong places. I mean, it's a perfect marriage for Patrick Mahomes' talent. And Andy Reid basically saw another Brett Favre, talent-wise, arm talent and competitiveness and everything else. And right now they're making beautiful music together.
So was the 45-10 loss that you witnessed Sunday against the Chiefs, in your mind, more about, hey, it's the Chiefs and Arrowhead, they got it going, and that was a snowball rolling downhill, and that happens sometimes in the NFL? Or was it more about the Bengals? Were they in a hangover from the Pittsburgh loss, and did they let it linger into Sunday? What did you see? How do you feel about that loss from a Bengals perspective?
I think you could say that the Kansas City Chiefs could have had a hangover Sunday night before, Sunday Night Football. They lose at the gun. After putting 31 on the board in the second half against New England in Foxborough. It never happened to a Bill Belichick coach team. And he puts 31 points on the board. Mahomes has a bad first half, only 9 points, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. So, everybody's like, oh, man, here he goes. He's going to have a stinker. Comes out in the second half, throws 4 touchdown passes, 31 points on the board, leads his team to a tie, and Brady gets the last possession of the game, goes down and kicks a field goal at the gun, sprints across the field. That's what convinced me. Brady sprints across the field, couldn't say enough good things to Mahomes about the game. So, yeah, I mean, you would think maybe the Chiefs have a hangover, losing a gut-wrencher like that. The Bengals lose a gut-wrencher. So, to me, national television, everybody's watching you. There's no hangover. Basically, the Chiefs kicked their tail. They shook up a 55-gallon drum of whoop butt and sprayed it all over them, man. I mean, they really did. I'm not surprised the Chiefs scored like they did. I'm shocked that Chiefs defense that was on track to give up more yards than any defense in NFL history held the Bengals to 239 yards and 10 points. That's what shocked me, is the Bengals offensively didn't come close to holding up their end of the bargain.
I'm not making excuses for the Bengals, who had the 4-1 start, but I'm just wondering, Lap, as you watch them, are injuries catching up with them a little bit? Obviously Gio Bernard's out, the Tyler Eifert injury, and then now they've lost a couple of other tight ends. And, for the Bengals, that is a somewhat important position, especially when Eifert's there. Is that an issue that you see with this team going forward right now?
That is. There's no doubt. I mean, here's a number. 14 quarters The first 14 quarters of the season, when they had Tyler Eifert, they scored 117 points. The last 14 quarters without him, they scored 67. 40-point difference. Now, is it just Tyler Eifert? It's obviously he's a huge factor, but you've got other players that they wish were on the football field as well. The Cincinnati Bengals. You've had injuries. John Ross on the other side of A.J. Green, speed guy, to stretch and distort the field. He's not available. He has a groin issue. He's been limping and gimping around since the Atlanta game, and he re-aggravated his injury against Kansas City. He won't be playing this weekend. The injuries are a factor. They lost at training camp. 3 of the 4 tight ends that were at training camp are now gone. Shrek's on injury reserve with an ACL. Tyler Eifert's on injury reserve, and Tyler Kroft has a broken foot, who may join him on injury reserve if he has to have surgery. So that position has been decimated, and their tight end package has been good to them, just like the tight end package is good to a lot of these teams. Injuries at tight end and injuries the Bengals have had at linebacker, particularly Nick Vigil, the best cover linebacker who covers tight ends. He's been out, and he's going to be out through the bye with a MCL problem. So tight ends in this era of football, linebackers matching up on the tight ends, the Bengals are hurting in both departments injury-wise. They're having trouble stopping the opposition tight end, and they're having trouble now creating opportunities at tight end because they don't have the numbers. They don't have the bodies that they once had. So it is a huge factor, but I'll go back to Kansas City. They played against the Bengals in a defense that had been allowing people to run up and down the field on them. They didn't have their 2 Pro Bowlers. Their best linebacker, Houston, who had a 22-sack season during his career, he was out. And Barry at safety, Pro Bowl safety, was out. So their best 2 players didn't play. And they held the Bengals offense to 239 yards and 10 points. So everybody has injury problems and issues in the NFL, and you just have to make adjustments and move on.
There's no shame in losing back-to-back games to teams like the Steelers and the Chiefs. But this week now, and they're still 4-3. They still have everything in front of them. This week, though, they play a Tampa Bay team. Do we find out something about the Bengals if they're, a legitimate, we're going to be in it till the end kind of team? Am I putting too much on this game to find out whether, hey, they're legitimately a team that's a playoff contender and a division champion? If they win this game and if they lose this game, it's Bengals, and this is going to be a terrible second half. How important in your mind is this game against a team that they really should beat?
Significant game, no question about it. Like you said, they could have just made Pittsburgh's life miserable. Pittsburgh had a bye week. They could have had Pittsburgh with an 0-2-1 record in the division and a losing record overall and buried. Pittsburgh got a life by coming back and winning the game like they did, down the stretch against the Bengals. And not that they lost to the Chiefs in Kansas City. I agree. It's how they lost to the Chiefs in Kansas City. So you compound that, with the loss to the Steelers. And of course, everybody's got questions. You have to get this game won at home against Tampa Bay, go into the bye week 5-3, tracking for a 10-6 record, and maybe getting some health back. I'm not sure that they're going to suit up 46 healthy players. I think that the 7 deactivations will all be because of injury, and there may be some guys that are active for the game that are going to be limping and gimping and probably shouldn't be active for the game. So they are crawling to the bye week physically. Giovanni Bernard's another one that they'll get back after the bye. Billy Price, another one, they'll get back after the bye. They'll start just, accumulate bodies, bring some bodies back. I don't think Darqueze Dennard will be right after the bye, but, we're going through a litany of injuries here, so this football team is leaking oil, and they need to get to that bye week, have the players continue to rehab and rest, and let the coaches make adjustments to how teams attack them in the first half of the season, do some self-scouting, get ready for the second half of it, and put their best foot forward with a 5-3 mark. I think it's very significant.
Well, Dave, we'll be listening Sunday and hoping it goes the Bengals' way and they get this turned around. Always love talking to you, and appreciate it very much. We'll be listening Sunday.
Thanks for the opportunity. Have a great one.